That's the power of your name. Just a mention makes a way. Giants fall and strongholds break, and there is healing. That's the power that I claim. It's the same that rolled the grave. There's no power like the mighty name of Jesus. Hello everyone, welcome back to Artist Archives. My name is Nikki and we have a bit of a different video today. So this month, one of the things that I am focusing on is healing. And by healing, I mean that in all different ways. It means first and foremost my spiritual healing. So that is just reconnecting with God, because I feel like I have not really been reading, well, it's not that I feel like I haven't really been reading my Bible recently. I feel like I haven't really been praying and communicating with God properly, and it's just time to get back on track with that. I also mean emotional and mental healing, which goes along with the spiritual healing, but there's a lot of things that I want to finally face in my life. I feel like I potentially went through some trauma that I never acknowledged as trauma, and it seems to sort of come up, or I seem to react to it every year or so and get really upset. And I'm finally facing it. I'm like, look, let's just deal with this so we can move on. I've never used that word trauma really properly before, because it's always felt very, very dramatic in the wide scheme of things. I really don't think I went through that much. However, it seems to have affected me. Therefore, I want to be focusing on healing from trauma. Yeah. It also means physical rejuvenation as well. I want to start doing strength work. I do a lot of like cardio stuff, but also I want to do strength. So yeah, so today's the 1st of August. And we're starting that, we're healing, which is so exciting. I think it started yesterday a little bit, because last night I was on the phone to a good friend. I had my Connects group from church, which was so needed. I don't think I realized how much I needed it. The ladies came round, had some lunch, we chatted, felt like a proper host, you know, but it was just like really nice, much needed, just to chat and like pray for each other as well, which was brilliant. And yeah, and I painted my nails whilst I was on the phone. I was on the phone to a friend, and we'll talk about that later, but I have historically been terrible at any type of like, not any type, I've historically been quite bad at taking time for myself, or quote unquote self-care kind of stuff. And I have complicated thoughts around self-care, because I really do think it should look individual, and sometimes I force myself to try and do what self-care should look like, doing nails, I don't know, face masks, that kind of stuff. But actually, yeah, I'm taking time to learn more about who I am, who I want to be, unlearn some things, heal, and just pray and reconnect and address any trauma or any mental health issues and that kind of stuff, whilst also looking after my body. So it started today, which was really nice. I had a lovely prayer session. I got up early, did some work, and then I had a lovely prayer session, which was nice. As I said, I haven't been praying properly a lot, so just worship, just putting on music and just worshiping, and just taking time to do that, and realizing like I have time. If I want to take the whole day to worship, do you know what I mean? Like, just allow myself to be flexible, instead of always feeling like, sometimes I'm like, oh, I've got 5 minutes, I'll read a quick verse, and then, do you know what I mean? Just really this month I just want to really prioritize God and prioritize like my self-healing, you know? So these vlogs aren't intended to be perfect and like super put together or anything like that necessarily. Like, I just want to be honest. Yeah, so my friend Dan, for my birthday, I was talking to him about wanting to get into like some strength training work and like home workouts, and he bought me these home use resistance bands, which is cool. I don't really know how to use them, so I'm gonna see if I can find a workout online. And apparently the different colors signify different types of like resistance, so that's cool. Resistance bands work out abs and core. That's what I want to focus on, so let's do that. Bam. Straighten out that band. Should start to feel it burn.
If it's burning, that's a good sign, so keep going. And we go halfway or behind. Keep the tension in the band at all times. If do is stretch it out and then back the other way. Good. Keep going.
Oh, that was fun. It was hard, but it was fun. At one point we had 2 resistance bands going on. Yeah, first resistance band workout, a success. And oh, excuse me, it wasn't as tricky to figure out which ones to use because I just used the colors that she was using, because I guess they go by universal colors. I'm gonna have a shower now and I'm heading out to meet my friend John. John's really cool. He's a fellow actor, and yeah, we hadn't seen each other in a while. Looking forward to catching up with him. Will be really nice. And sorry, I'm a bit tired. I was gonna say something else about the workout. Oh, I was just gonna say that once I changed my mindset to go from like this is painful and annoying and like I'm really pushing myself to like this is fun and you chose to do this, it became a lot easier. So I think that's the mindset I need to go into home workouts with. Hello, hello, hello. It is day 2 of our Get Healthy challenge. Let's call it that, Get Healthy challenge. I'm here, mug of tea, and I just wanted to chat real quickly through yesterday because yesterday was amazing and I just want to talk through it. I just had some revelations and just like a really good time, and I think some of those things might also benefit you if you're also doing a Get Healthy with me challenge. Or I mean, yeah, let's make this yeah, this is a challenge. Join me, month of August. We're getting healthy physically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, just like everything. So it's a bit loud outside, sorry. So yesterday I went out just to like grab lunch and just catch up with a friend I mentioned earlier, and we kind of like hadn't seen each other for years, and then we saw each other recently, and then we were like, oh my gosh, we should actually like, let's just make a date to hang out. And we're very proud of ourselves because we were I was like, let's do some point in August, and then we actually ended up hanging out 1st of August. Very beautiful, very beautiful. But a lot of the things that we ended up chatting about became really deep, but like not in a heavy way, but just in like a very much needed way. And I was like, God is so good, because I feel like God just orchestrates these conversations, because some of the things he was saying, like completely unprompted by me, was like everything that I needed to hear, everything I needed to think about. We had like he was talking about, for example, like about how disappointed he was actually in like some of his friends who are also actors who are just kind of like not managing their lives. That sounds really heavy. He didn't put it exactly like that, but in terms of like they would book a holiday that they'd be so excited for, and then they would be on holiday, you know, and then they would cut it short and come home early because they've just been told they need to do an audition or something like that. It was about repeatedly putting off things, and what that does to you mentally as a performer when you're constantly on call and you never allow yourself to actually have time off. You know, you're always like go, and you will drop everything at the second of a hat. Family, friends, everything. And like obviously I think there's an element of like freelance that is like that, but we were talking about when you say I'm going to take a break, actually take that break and have the integrity to what's the honor yourself. Yeah, so if you say I need 4 days holiday, take that 4 days holiday, and if you miss a self-tape, okay, you've missed one self-tape, but there'll be more, and you'll come back more rested anyway and doing better work. And he just like everything I was thinking, because basically I don't know if I said, but like this month is, as I said, my month of like, with the exception of like one major project that I'm currently working on, I have said no to a lot of things, a lot of freelance things. People have emailed me being like, are you free on this date? And it's felt so weird throughout the entire month of August just to be like, no, I'm not. And which has been really nice. It's been good, it's been needed. I feel like I really need a break, but I felt so guilty about it. And something John kept on saying was like, you literally do not have to justify this decision to anyone. Because I was telling him, like, the way I justify it is like, for example, if you're a teacher, I know people who are like teachers full-time, that's their thing, and they get summer off, right? Because that's just how their work schedule works. So I'm like, but do I think teachers are lazy because they have the summer off? No, not at all. Like, they're amazing. And so I was like, okay, I can take 4 weeks off without feeling incredible guilt. And he was like, you literally don't even need to justify it at all. If you set out intentionally to say, I'm taking 4 weeks off in 1 year, do it. Like, do you know what I mean? And like, I feel like there was just so much stuff that came up in the conversation where I was like, this is exactly what I needed to hear. Like, it was just so beautiful. We ended up speaking a lot about kids and like, when do we want kids, and like what a successful marriage looks like, and like all this like really deep stuff that I do talk about sometimes with friends, but like I think it's really nice to get like a male perspective. I think majority of my friends are female because like it's kind of like how I grew up and the industry that I'm in. Like the people that I'm around a lot of the time are like women like my age, so it was really nice just to like get a male guy friend's like experience objective perspective, is that what I'm trying to say, perspective, like on these things. And even that conversation in and of itself was really healing, because like a lot of the things that I was thinking were some of the things that he was thinking. Like at my age, I just had my birthday. Like it's funny because I'm like really enjoying being single right now, and like we just talked a lot about like the pressures that are placed upon people and this kind of like life which everyone expects you to live without giving you any sort of like other options. Not they don't even acknowledge that there are other options. It's literally like, when are you going to get married, when are you going to settle down, when are you going to buy a house, when are you going to have kids, work until retirement, die. And I've like literally always hated that thing, but like sometimes I don't say it because if you say it then I don't know, whatever. But like it was just really refreshing to have someone else who was like, I literally cannot stand that concept. We ended up talking about the inner child. I didn't even bring any of this stuff up, but all this stuff that I needed to hear was just like so healing. And like I was asking him like what he thinks of the inner child concept, and he's been doing like lots of like therapy and stuff at the moment, so he was able to explain some stuff more to me and say like inner child work for him was more about like just acknowledging that there is an inner child, and like what does it even mean to grow up, and how he doesn't even really like that term, because like he's like, what more growing up do you want me to do? Like, I'm a responsible adult, I've held down a job since I was 19, I'm doing X, Y, and Z, and I'm having fun. So when people say grow up, he's kind of like, what does that mean and where does that come from? And I was thinking about how that must be like so shame-based and fear-based that people are projecting that onto you, saying, you know, grow up, X, Y, Z. So yeah, we had like all these like amazing, like intense like conversations, and it was just so healing and like everything I needed. And it was really sunny, and yeah, we went by like the South Bank and into the park, and it was a vibe. It was a whole vibe. Something that he said that I needed to hear, that I didn't realize I needed to hear, because this whole time I've been going, oh, I'm gonna have August off, but I've been a little bit wishy-washy, and I've been like, oh well, I guess if this thing comes up, like maybe I'll take it. And he was kind of like, decide in advance what you want and then communicate that to people instead of being in this limbo. For example, I was like, I might come back from this trip early because I need to see a friend, because they're really upset at the moment. And he was like, okay, do you want to do that? Like, as a genuine question, like, do you want to do that, or are you feeling guilty? And I realized, no, actually I do want to do that. But just thinking about, because there's a few things where I'm like, if I'm honest, I want this time off, but I'm too scared to communicate that to some people, so I'm just hoping that they won't contact me with stuff to do in the meantime. And it's kind of like I don't know, he just had a really great point about decide what you want and then do that. And we were speaking a lot about like, so I use this phrase, you are the steward of your own life, right? Especially if you're self-employed, you are the boss. There's no boss that's gonna come up to you, there's no human boss that's going to come up to you and say, oh, take your time off, take your leave, take your 3 weeks or whatever. Do you know what I mean? As freelancer, you are the boss, and I need to be a better boss in terms of like also giving myself that rest. And I can feel it in myself. I'm tired. I'm a bit tired. I can't lie. Like, I can feel it. And he was like, if you can feel it, trust it and take a break. Even if you don't feel it, it's okay to say, I'm gonna take a week off or whatever. Like, that's my thing for you. I found that always like really hard. Why? I'm a very like entrepreneurial, creative person, so I'm very motivated, and I honestly do think, to be honest, like the arts industry is set up in a way like there's a lot of self-motivation that's needed, so my personality is already like that. I also do think that as a child of Ghanaian immigrants, like obviously how do I even put it, there's a certain level of like assumption that I think if you're white and you're born in this country that you have. I won't go too much into it because there's some things that feel a little bit more unique to my family. Oh my gosh, that's something else we should talk about. But I'm kind of like, it was just this assumption, like they came from another country, they then had to work their way up. Other people have had generations of families working their way up already in England. So you're already aware that you're in a different position. My level of comfort, my level of like, even just, I mean, the word really is privilege, isn't it? Like, just, I'm aware that I don't have bank of mum and dad in the same way to rely on as a lot of like my white counterparts will have, if that makes sense. So there's a lot of stuff there already, like with that. So you already have this mentality of work hard, work hard, work hard. Even if you weren't immigrants, like just as a black child growing up in the UK, there's already this, even if you're not told directly, there's already this feeling of like you have to work really, really hard. You know, and then obviously like, I mean, it's good to work hard as well, so that has been taught to me in terms of like just good morality, I guess. But then also, yeah, of course, like additional pressures of being black. But then of course, like I was also told, like I'm going into an industry where like you have to work really hard. Always been so go, 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 go. And I think that's cool. I do think in the beginning when you're starting off, like go, 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 do you know what I mean? But it's been a few years now and I need to not be scared to be able to really take the helm and say, this is when I need to take a break, or this is when I need to work on X, Y, or this is when I need to push myself, do you know what I mean? Like I am the steward, by God's grace, I'm the steward. And it's cool, wherever I go, wherever I tread, God has blessed me, so it's okay if I rest. Rest is holy, rest is sacred. Like the first day of rest is the day God blessed, and the only day God blessed is holy because he rested. Like if you read the book of Genesis, that's what it says. He rested on the seventh day and he made it holy because he rested on the seventh day. So there's all that. The other thing to say, what was I going to say? Oh my gosh, so on my way there to meet my friend, I was listening to this audiobook called The Body Keeps the Score, and by Bessel van der Kolk, I want to say his name is. Anyway, he's a psychologist, and he kind of, I don't know if this is 100% correct, but he was basically a huge pioneer into the study of like war veterans and PTSD. And before he kind of came on the scene, there was like really not much research done into this at all. And I was really surprised because PTSD and war veterans like hadn't really properly been like linked, and they were kind of like, oh, it's not relevant, which is like so wild. And he was one of the first people to be like, the body holds memories. Like memory isn't just this thing that happened, or like a trauma isn't just the thing that happened in the past, move on because you're in the present. He's like, the body is holding on to these things. That was really interesting. I just thought I'd bring that up because I'm reading that, and I'll maybe do some updates on it as I go along. As I said, I'm trying to do more research into like trauma and memory and these kinds of things, and I'm not a war veteran at all, but it is actually interesting to hear like the psychology and the experiences of this. And like I did cry at one point because the story of one of the war veterans was so sad. Sorry if the lighting is a bit different, but it's not bad, right? It's pretty cute. I was listening to this YouTube video yesterday by this licensed clinical social worker by the name of, I think, Patrick Tehan or something like that. And the title of the video was something about like 7 unhealthy family dynamics or whatever. And I was like, oh, I'll listen to it. I've listened to a few of these videos before, and I feel like a lot of them aren't relevant to me. It's like I feel like something is wrong and up, but I feel like, nah, that's not it. Do you know what I mean? When he'll describe like some people went through this and some people went through this in their childhood, and I'm like, yeah, that's not me, kind of thing. Like a lot of the stuff I've listened to, I've been like, that wasn't my experience, that wasn't me. yes, maybe I have these behaviors, but that's not what happened like in my childhood kind of thing. Anyway, so I was listening to this one and he was like, number one, unhealthy family dynamic is this. And he said the thing and I literally felt this like in my chest because I was like, oh yeah, that was me. And I didn't know, I didn't know it was you feel it's an unhealthy family dynamic, but I don't feel like I felt like it was an abusive family dynamic. I didn't know that. I didn't know that was a common feature within like an abusive family dynamic or an unhealthy family dynamic or a toxic or traumatic family dynamic, you know, all these words that I never like to sort of claim for myself. But I was like, yeah, that was me. And he kept on going through all these different lists and I was like, I am resonating. And it was just interesting how my chest just went, ooh, yeah, recognize that. It was just like a very like embodied like feeling. So that was interesting. But yeah, I've just been having like revelations over the last few days, and like one thing I think I want to work on this month is like how I express anger, because I don't express anger. And I think when I was a child I had like a way more healthy approach to expressing anger than I do now. Maybe part of that is a societal thing, like anger isn't seen as a good emotion. So obviously when you're a kid and you're angry, you might throw a tantrum or tell someone you're angry. And I guess maybe as an adult, it feels harder for me to like tell someone when I'm angry. I don't tell people when I'm angry. I just like hold my anger and I don't do anything healthy with it at the moment, and it's not good. Or if I'm going to express it, it will be in a way that is like harmful, but not to the person I'm angry with. I tend to turn it inwards. So I will like call myself names, or I will like feel really tempted to like smoke a cigarette or engage in a harmful behavior to express the anger, but it's just more like it's more like I'm going to take it out on myself rather than I'm going to take it out on anyone else, you know. So it's interesting. I did have this revelation the other day where I was like, oh, in a way that I might express my anger. So yeah, but I would be really interested if you've watched this video, because it's just been me rambling for ages. How do you express your anger? Number one, give me some tips. Like what do you, like legitimately what do you do? Because the only things I can think of are like maybe journaling, and like what, like legit, like I'm not making this up, I don't know what people do to express that. Like I'm talking your anger. Like when you're angry, what do? Do you shout? Do you punch a pillow? Like do you go for a run? Like I need to know what people do, because I've realized that like I very much don't express my anger. Yeah, and when it comes to negative emotions in general, I just don't really tend to express them. My second question is, have you ever done any inner child work? What do you think of like the inner child theories? And if you have, what helped you? Because I'm curious, and that's something that I'm just wanting to learn more about. Those are my two questions for you. The last thing I think I'm going to mention in this video is I booked in a couple of therapy sessions for this month. I was going to book in more, but therapy is expensive, y'all. Like, because I've been to therapy once before, which was during lockdown, because I was like, oh, I've got some time to address like a couple of things completely different to this, or who knows, they could be linked, but like different issue in my mind, not linked. So I think she's gonna be a bit surprised by this, but it was free basically. Long story, but it was free, which was amazing, such a blessing. So I didn't know what her prices were, so I emailed her being like, oh, can I book in some sessions? She told me how much, and I was like, so can we book in like less sessions, bruh? But I think it'll be good. I think, who knows, I don't know, we'll see. No, it'll be good, it will be great. So I'm going to sit here, I'm sat here right now. I've got my Bible, I've got my prayer journal. I just want to make a list of things I want to do, because I'm realizing that like I want to really make the most of this time. And if I say I'm going to get spiritually healthy, what does that look like? What does that mean? Yeah, what does that look like? And then yeah, for all of it, like if I say I want to get socially healthy, what does that look like? Does that look like meeting with friends more? Does that look like going out to places more? Like I just want to get like a rough idea and make a list of things that I can do and explore like this month, and ideas. Like I was talking to a friend, and like I don't know, it might be like watching childhood movies, or like going shopping, or like I don't know, whatever, but just like a list of things that I would like to do this month as well. So I'm excited. I will catch up with you soon. Let me not make any promises, but I'll catch up with you soon. Also, comment down below if you want to join me on this Get Healthy With Me challenge, because it would be nice to be joined by people. Yeah, this is the most vulnerable I've been in a long time, and it's intentional because I hate vulnerability, I can't lie. And it's intentional because we're breaking this, because we just need to I just want to break this kind of like thing that I've had of like always being strong and like not communicating, and like there's some other things we'll talk about in a few weeks. But thank you so much for watching. Big love. God loves you. Pray for me. Let me know how I can be praying for you, and I will see y'all in the next video. Ciao. 'Cause that's the power of your name. Just a mention makes a way. Giants fall and strongholds break, and there is healing. That's the power that I claim. It's the same that rolled the grave. There's no power like the mighty name of Jesus.